Good morning, Year 3. Today we're going to move on to looking at some more of the properties of different shapes. Let's get started with our Discover. So, question 1a says, what type of quadrilateral have the children made? How many pairs of parallel lines does this shape have? And part B says, do other sizes of this shape have a different number of parallel lines? Pause the video now and have a go at working out the answers to these questions by yourself. If it helps, you can draw this quadrilateral onto some paper to see if that will help you with the questions. Come back to the video when you're ready for some answers. Okay, so part A. This shape is called a rectangle. Rectangles are quadrilaterals. A quadrilateral is any shape that has 4 sides. There are 2 pairs of parallel lines in this rectangle. The 2 vertical lines are parallel, and then also the 2 horizontal lines are parallel. For part B, we were asked that if different sizes of the same shape would also have the same number of parallel lines. And the answer is yes. All rectangles, including squares, have 2 pairs of parallel lines. These will be the 2 vertical and the 2 horizontal. However, this shape can be turned and rotated and it will still have the same number of parallel lines. Squares are also a type of rectangle. They are a special type of rectangle where all 4 sides are exactly the same length. Normally, on all other types of rectangle, 2 of the sides will be longer than the other 2. Let's move on to the think together questions. Question 1 says, how many pairs of perpendicular lines have the children made? Can you remember from yesterday's session that perpendicular lines are 2 lines that meet and create a right angle in between them? Pause the video and have a go at working this out, and we'll talk about it together in a minute. So in this case, the children have made 4 pairs of perpendicular lines. There is one right angle here, so this vertical line and this horizontal line join to make a right angle. Here, the horizontal line and the vertical line is another pair. The vertical line here and the horizontal line at the bottom. And finally, the horizontal line and the vertical line. So there are 4 pairs of perpendicular lines. This will be the same regardless of the size of rectangle, and this also includes squares as well. They will always have 4 pairs of perpendicular lines. Question 2 now. There are 6 children in a group. Which quadrilateral shapes can they make? Draw them on squared paper. So if you're using squared paper, each child could be the length of 1 square. So you've got 6 small lines to draw. They all need to be about the same size. And remember that a quadrilateral shape is one that has 4 sides. Okay, so I have drawn a couple of different quadrilaterals using the 6 lines to represent the children. The first that I drew is this rectangle. I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal sized lines to make it, and it only has 4 sides, so I know that it is a quadrilateral. Another shape I could have drawn is this sort of kite shape here. Again, I've used 6 roughly equal lines and arranged them into this quadrilateral which has 4 sides. Of these 2 shapes, the kite has no parallel or perpendicular lines. The rectangle, as we've talked about over the last couple of questions, does have both parallel and perpendicular lines. However, the kite does not. Some of you will be ready to go into your Green Power Maths books now. Today we are working on page 89. Remember the keywords that we have been looking at today: parallel, perpendicular, and quadrilateral. The rest of you who would like to carry on, let's go through the challenge together now. So question 3, make some shapes with 2 acute angles. Use 10 sticks or pencils that are all the same length. So this is a little bit similar to the question that we did a minute ago, in that you'll need to use 10 short equal lines. Pens or pencils is great as well. and you need to make some shapes. The question specifies that they need 2 acute angles. An acute angle is one that is smaller than 90 degrees, so it'll be smaller than a right angle. Pause the video now and have a go at working out and drawing some of these shapes, and then come back to the video when you are ready. All right, so the shape that I made with my 10 pencils of equal length is a simple star shape, a 5-pointed star. This shape has 10 sides, and these angles that are in the points, these are acute because they are smaller than 90 degrees, they are less than a right angle. However, there are lots of other irregular shapes and unusual shapes that you could have made. I'd be really interested to see the sorts of things you've come up with for this question, because it's a really broad kind of question. Part B, it asks us to decide where each of your shapes would go in this table. So in this top left box here, we have to include shapes with sides that are all the same length and where there are no lines of symmetry. In this top right box, sides are not all the same length and again, no lines of symmetry. One or more lines of symmetry and sides are all the same length, and one or more lines of symmetry and sides are not all the same length. So for this question, use the shapes that you came up with for your last question, and then have a go and see if there's any others that you could put in as well. Pause the video and then come back when you're ready for some answers. Okay, I have added some shapes into this table already. I have drawn a pentagram. Now, the question asked us to use 10 pens or pencils to draw the shape. However, if you use 2 for each side to extend them and make them longer, you can easily use 10 pencils in this shape. All of the sides are the same length because it is a regular pentagon, and it does have lines of symmetry. I could fold this straight up and down the middle, and that would give me 2 equal sides. Another shape that would also go in here is a decagon. This is a regular 10-sided shape. So quite simply just arranging your pencils in a shape where all of the sides are the same length. The pentagon, the 5-pointed star that I did earlier would also go in this box as well. For a shape where not all the sides are of the same length, you could have this triangle here. For this one, you would need 2 pens or pencils along each of these sides here, and then use 3 for the wider side down the bottom. However, it does still have a line of symmetry. If you folded the shape vertically along the central axis, it would create 2 equal triangles reflected on either side. Of course, there are all sorts of shapes and irregular shapes that you could use for this table. And again, just like the last question, I'll be really interested to see what you have come up with. It's time to go into your books now. And so today you are working on page 89, recognizing and describing 2D shapes. Good luck with your work today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.